If you clicked on this video, you probably have one of two questions. You're either, what is the New Republic, or you're, how is the New Republic incompetent? And I'll be answering both of these questions in today's video. The New Republic is the body of government that formed after the fall of the Empire, or the return of the Jedi, and it fell once its capital, Hosnian Prime, was destroyed by the First Order in The Force Awakens. Now that we have what it is out of the way, how are they incompetent? I'm going to be taking different pieces of media and chugging them together to draw my conclusion. As you saw probably from the thumbnail of the title, I'll be using Mandalorian Season 3, 2 episodes from that. I'll be using maybe source from the movie, and definitely from some of the Star Wars novels that have come out. An epic video today. Mandalorian Season 3, we'll be looking at episodes 3 and 5. So let's first look at episode 3. Episode 3 follows Dr. Pershing from seasons 1 and 2 through the program known as the Amnesty Program, which is based heavily off of Operation Paperclip, which is a real-life event where the U.S. took in Nazi scientists for their rocket program. So, draws a few red flags in the beginning, which is, first, this is 10 years after the fall of the Empire. Around 10 years, a decade, alright? That, and they're letting Dr. Pershing work with the New Republic, which, let's take a real life thing from Operation Paperclip. Let's say the U.S. were to take Nazi scientists 10 years after World War II ended. That's 1955. That's crazy. So that is my flaw number 1. They are too trusting that people are going to serve their cause. I'm usually all for, second chances, unless they served a fascist government for 10 years longer than everybody else, or serve them at all. It's definitely it's very suspicious, and you can see that another member of the Amnesty Program, she is also part of the program, and she turns out to still be working with the Empire, or still have the Empire's goals in mind, so it doesn't really help them. The thing from the episode is that they say that the New Republic is decommissioning the Rebel Alliance's fleet, which is another reason why they're incompetent, so this is reason number 2. And this is why they fell to the First Order, is because they decommissioned their military. Well, they fell to the First Order for many other reasons too. We'll get to that. But mainly because they decommissioned most of the Rebel Alliance's military. Now, that is obviously just a bad decision. They're governing an entire galaxy. Even if you want to be peaceful, you're still going to need a big military because it's a big galaxy, and what they're doing is just not a smart, tactical way of thinking. Moving on to episode 5 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. This is a pretty good episode if you ask me. We got a cameo from Zeb from Rebels, and we got some New Republic action, and with that comes the incompetence of the New Republic. So let's just hop in. In the episode, we can see that Captain Teva of the New Republic is trying to assist Navarro through the New Republic. Now, once he gets to Coruscant, he is denied because Navarro, which is under siege from pirates, did not sign the New Republic Charter, which is, every planet is within the New Republic's borders. Ryloth is an independent planet, but in the book Bloodline, Ryloth has a conflict, and the New Republic tries and helps them. Here, Navarro, the sovereign planet, has a problem, and the New Republic is not helping them, just in this case because it's just not that well known, and because they didn't sign the charter. So, yeah, this leads me to my point 3, which is that they're not paying attention to the Outer Rim. Navarro is an Outer Rim world, and problems are happening there. Captain Teva even says that the New Republic is too blind to see that something's happening out there, because the Empire, remnants of the Empire at least, are out there, and so are pirates, and Captain Teva thinks that they're intertwined in some way, and the New Republic's too blind to see it, because eventually it becomes the First Order, which wipes out the New Republic, because they were just too blind to see it. As Captain Teva said, they just don't know how to respond to conflict. They don't pay attention to the Outer Rim. If you're governing a galaxy, a country, anywhere, you're gonna have to monitor all parts of your body of government, because if you don't, problems will arise. Maybe they'll be economically, maybe people will rise up and try and overthrow you. So this is just, I don't see why they think it's just a good idea not to help Navarro. And Teva does eventually get the help from the Mandalorians, so Navarro is saved. I would recommend you watch that episode of The Mandalorian, because it is pretty good, but yeah. Now, on the books, we're mainly going to be looking at Claudia Gray's novel Bloodline, which takes place some 30 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, and right around the time of the sequels, and it follows Leia. We may also look at Alphabet Squadron if I feel like my point needs to be proven, which it does, so let's dive into Alphabet Squadron real quick. In Alphabet Squadron, there's also a little bit of a rehab system with former remnants of the Empire that are joining the New Republic, kind of like a prototype, like a beta amnesty program. So, I mean, the characters in that rehab are not 10 years too far into the Empire's grasp, but they are not really trustworthy. I mean, anybody who followed the Empire for the duration of the Empire is most likely Empire supporter through and through. They did reign for nearly 20 years, so that is, if you were with the Empire, you're probably just too evil to redeem. Now that we're done with that Alphabet Squadron bit, let's talk about Bloodline, like I said. So, Bloodline follows Princess Leia on her mission with this pirate organization. I recommend you either read the book, and I don't want to have to read the book again for this video, so I'm just trying to remember it. But I do remember what I'm trying to talk about, and here it is. First off, the New Republic at this point has two political parties. One really does not want to have their military any longer, not really a great choice, and one does want to have the military. So it is like a whole thing. It's a reoccurring thing. Is they don't listen to each other at all. The two parties just don't listen to each other. Much like real life government parties. I don't want to point fingers at anyone, but you might know what I'm talking about. So yeah, they don't listen to each other, which is, I would say, another point of mine, is that they don't listen to each other. I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but it's true, and this just leads to the demise, because they're too busy fighting each other to fight the actual threat, which is pretty much a common theme. You could say they were almost on the brink of a civil war, but it wasn't too bad. My next point is that in Bloodline, okay, I guess I am getting into spoilers here, they find out, the Senate finds out that Leia is Darth Vader's daughter. Find out she's Darth Vader's daughter, and they then just don't listen to her. And then when she goes off and forms the Resistance, they don't listen to her at all, because they don't see the First Order as an actual threat, which just, again, leads to the New Republic's demise. I think the New Republic is actually worse at governing a galaxy than the Empire is. Sure, the Empire was a dictatorship, but they knew how to enforce their fist, although it may have been very militaristic. I'm not saying what they did was great, but I'm saying they definitely handled the galaxy better than the New Republic. I'd say that overall the New Republic is definitely the worst and most incompetent government in most of Star Wars. As of recording this, we don't have any information on the governing body that happens after the events of Rise of Skywalker. It's just this whole thing, so I don't know if they'll just form another New Republic, the New Republic. They'll maybe find a different name than Republic, because it seemed that every Republic in the Star Wars galaxy just gets screwed over at some point. So, hey, that's that. In conclusion, the New Republic is incompetent. You saw all my points, and I think even if they're worded poorly or this video is edited poorly, I still think I'm right, and it will take a lot of convincing to convince me that they are a good government system. I know I just created this entire video on a fictional government, but I think my point still stands. It's been the 501st Hangout. Later, nerds.